There's no African religion, there's no African spirituality that teaches you to worship your forefathers. It simply says, call on them. And by the way, there's no African prayer that does not end before you say, please tell the one who created you to deal with this problem. Therefore, it's what we call sacred history interpreted in a European construct. When an African calls his forefathers, just like a Jew says God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Abraham, and etc.
Okay, so one thing about Maponga, if you are listening to him, that you must be aware of, especially when he's talking about the Bible, and biblical things, is that he knows the Bible, he knows the scriptures. He knows when he is misinterpreting scripture or when he is misrepresenting scripture, and still he will do it anyway. He knows that, because when you listen to him, you can tell the level of intelligence that he has, the way he puts together words. He can build something out of anything. Okay, and here he is misrepresenting the Bible, and I want to show you something, so that next time when you're listening to him, you are aware and you can be able to read between the lines. So Maponga says that in African spirituality is the same thing with what was happening in the Bible, whereby in African spirituality you are not worshipping ancestors, but you are talking to ancestors, and you are acknowledging them and talking to them, so that they can talk to whoever was before them until they reach to God, right? And then he says that this thing is the same with the Bible, of which it's not. And I'm going to show you why I'm saying that it's not. In the Bible, when they were saying God of Jacob, they were not talking to Jacob. Whilst in the African spirituality, you are talking to your grandfather or your great-grandfather or your great-grandmother. You are talking to them directly. You are not talking to God. And you want them to relay the message back until it reaches with the Creator. But in the Bible, you are not talking to whoever has died, because in the Bible it's forbidden to speak to dead people, right? In the Bible, you are speaking to God himself. And if you are referring to him as the God of Jacob, you are actually reminding God that you did this thing for Jacob, who has passed away, right? If you're saying the God of Abraham, you are saying, I recognize what you have done with these people who came before me, right? But in African spirituality, as he is saying it here, when you are speaking to your ancestors, you are speaking to them. They are listening to you. They are hearing you. So which means you are speaking to a dead person, right? So when he is presenting it here, he is presenting it as if it's the same thing, while it's not the same thing, right? So let us say my father, I had a father, and my father was a man of God, a man who loved God and everything. I can pray to God and say, God of my father, so and so. Right? I am praying to God, but I'm not praying, I'm not talking or consulting my father. Right? This is the difference. This is a major difference between the Bible and between African spirituality. So now, if this creator, who is God, is one, right? If this creator who is God is true in the Bible, then everything else becomes a lie. If the spiritual or African spirituality is true in any way, then the God of the Bible is a liar. So what Maponga does is that he cherry picks scriptures. He picks up the scriptures that he likes, that he can use to support his ideas, any idea. He can turn the scripture. This man knows scripture so well, to a point that he can take a scripture, turn it around, and make it look like it's supporting African spirituality, right? That is who he is. But in what he has said here, it's clear that he is depending on the ignorance of people, that when people cannot even pick up the wrong thing that he's saying, because he is a poetic man, he's a creative man, he is creative with words, he is intelligent, he knows that he can present something to you in a way that is so enticing to a point that you will miss the truth. The truth is, these two things are not the same.